Welcome to a space where business insights meet soul wisdom, where we explore what it means to live and lead from your authentic design. I'm your host, Coach Diamond Drip, and today we're diving deep with someone who's really lived the experience we're talking about. We'll explore their journey, share practical insights you can use in your own life and business, and discover how they've learned to work with their natural gifts. Plus, I'll be sharing a personalized mantra for our guests that you can apply to your own path. Let's get started. Telli Morris is the founder of Service Sculptor, a creative and grounded strategist who knows what it means to hit the reset on life. After getting laid off from a six-figure role, she chose reflection over panic and turned uncertainty into alignment. Now, she helps small businesses cut through the noise and rebuild with clarity, compassion, and purpose. Telli, I am so excited that you're here. You have such a grounded, and you even use the word, but resilient energy. And I can already feel that this is going to be a conversation someone out there needed to hear. Before we jump in, how are you arriving today? How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling very spunky, very full, energetic. I feel like it's a good day. So I'm very excited to be here.
Okay, cool. I'm excited too. You mentioned before we hit record that movement has been lighting you up lately, just staying in motion and trusting the flow. Can you share a little bit more about what that's looked like in your world lately?
Yeah, so movement is such a term that I wish I knew when I was younger and didn't really understand it. And now that I've just been in this space that kind of made me uncomfortable, having been impacted by a layoff and trying to figure out career moves and just all of these different pieces. And for me, also additionally, personal stuff, like weight loss and trying to eat healthier and relocating, it's just, I got into this mini funk of non-movement. And I realized this is actually not good for me. And that act of moving actually made me more excited about the things that I was doing, whether it was through fitness, whether it was through the work that I was doing. And it's so important to be able to have that movement and momentum going in your life to be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve. And so that's just been my theme for the last year and a half is movement. And I did achieve some of those goals of weight loss, losing 25 pounds, and also starting a startup business. I'm a first time founder. So I just want to stress the importance of movement in that it helps. And any type of movement helps, whether physical, whether mental, or whether it's something that people should embrace because sitting still, the life still goes, my life still is moving. If you're not moving, nothing's happening to you. Things could come at you, but at the same time, you have to move to dodge the things that are coming at you. So that's why I feel about movement and why it's important to do that. So that's why that word resonates with me so much.
I love that. And I love that it resonates with you. So, one of the things that we'll talk about a little bit later is the fact that you're a generator. I'm also a generator. And we thrive doing work that we love. And so much in our society, what we're seeing today is that we're compromising our right work for the sake of material gain because we live in this space where money is important. It's a thing that's
It's
necessary to
money necessary.
leave, right? And so we spend a lot of time up here trying to figure out how to keep up with this 3D thing that wasn't what we came here to keep up with necessarily. And we forget our bodies need to move, our bodies need to let the energy flow. When you were saying like mental or like physical, the word that popped into my head was like that creative movement, whatever gets those juices flowing, whatever gets that joy pumping. That's what came to me. So yes, movement.
Yes, totally agree. It's such a great word.
You have been through so many pivots over the last 19 months, layoffs, new fields, launching a business. But one thing I felt so clearly from your story was this deep why around helping others find clarity. What keeps you rooted in that mission, even when the path feels uncertain? It's a lot of uncertainty in entrepreneurship.
Oh, there sure is. And I'm learning a lot. Knowing that I have certain expertise and certain limitations. And with that, I have to figure out, okay, who actually knows this stuff? How can I learn from them? And yeah, I think it's important to really understand that it is a tough time to figure out what's going on in all of the chaos that is going on in our lives. And the foundation of like why I'm so passionate about being able to help communities. I want to launch a product that is going to support small and medium businesses, helping them to understand what are they doing in their business? How is it running? What's working? What's not working? And being able to have them see those aha moments, especially considering you go through life and you're trying to figure out like, oh, this piece, I didn't really see it. Okay, this is the solution to my like money issues. Like I need to actually cut Netflix off or cut Hulu off temporarily, or I have Netflix, but I don't use it. So, do I really need it in my lineup of subscriptions? And so, just being able to help people and educate people on how to actually navigate and take the step back to slow down and figure out a solution to a big problem, small problems, all of those things start to bolt add up, and you want to be able to have the tools and the mindset to navigate that. And I think that is just really the passion that I have in being able to educate and teach people. I feel like I'm a natural teacher. A lot of people say, "Hey, you explain this really good to me. Tell me a little bit more." Oh, your perspective is just so different, and I just come with so many different ideas, and I want to be able to get people to really think and to ask questions, especially being a former UX researcher. I'm always asking those questions to people. Why are you doing that? Why is it so important to you? Do you struggle with this? Okay, why do you do this way? And I feel like that passion just stuck with me for a while. I think even as a kid, just trying to figure out ways to help people have fun, have fun, or to problem solve and to really think about life is more than just the surface level stuff. Is really digging deeper into what's actually going on in life. We can't figure out everything, but at the same time, being able to figure out those many solutions that make life work for you is super important. So that's really where my passion lies and what I learned about through my career in various different positions across technology and higher education.
I really love that. There were so many moments where I was like popping into your design because I was like, does she have that kit? And I just like someone speaking so much to the blueprint, the soul curriculum of why they came here, why they incarnated here in this lifetime. It's such a beautiful thing to hear, see. I have a researcher brain. And so it's like great evidence for my brain of, oh, that's so beautiful. And I love that you help people with that perspective shift, shaking up their thinking. Like it doesn't, the status quo is wrong, guys. Think differently, think outside of the box. We're hearing it more and more now. And it's funny because, like, you brought up the Netflix subscription. And when I think about the fact that we live in such like a capitalist society, like a lot of times when you go to cancel those things, they actually, not a lot of people realize this, they procrastinate it for so like they push it off for so long that when you actually cancel, they offer you like 60 days sometimes. Like this one software we had for my partner and I had for our daughter to help her with like math and reading, we went to cancel it and it offered us 6 months free. of,
Wow.
like you said, that mindset is everything because are all of the reasons on your list just like monetary reasons, or is there an actual reason that you're getting rid of this thing? Like, what's your perspective behind it? What are you doing? What's your purpose? What's your why? I love all of that.
Yes. And I will say too, they also get you with the putting out a new movie release. And then you're just like, I need to be a part of society's watch party. So yeah, I fully agree that
Yes.
it's such an interesting moment, but you have to really look at it for face value and like really think in terms of, okay, what is this about? What is the value of this for me?
Yes. You also shared something really powerful, this idea of taking a hard reset personally or professionally so that we can actually look at what's working and what's not. What inspired you to make that your message?
Yeah, I feel like in this time and age and where we're at, knowing that we came back from a pandemic and we're still in a pandemic and epidemic, whatever it's called. But it's just like there's so much going on in the world, whether it's like politically, socially, on a community level, in your personal life, because the ecosystem goes down to your personal life and your own world and your inner world. So just being able to actually reset, I feel we all want this like quick reset button, the yes buttons that they typically have, yes, no, and whatever. And I just feel that it's super important to be able to like actually commit to like a reset for yourself in every parts of your life, whether it be the relationships you have with people, the work that you're doing, all of these different things need a reset and you need to take a step back. And not only is the self service sculptor, the product that I'm building, it's an AI product for small businesses, is going to help people to really reset and be like, wow, actually, we could probably do this better. Or we could talk to more customers about it to really do a deeper dive into their experience. And then there's another portion that I've been working through, which is called Self Sculptor. It's kind of like a spin-off of Service Sculptor, but more so helping to build a community that can help people understand like there is community and there's a solid support system that everybody's going through the same stuff. And we all deserve a reset. We all deserve to be able to find the tools and collaborate in order to make our lives better and make our lives better together because we're not the only ones here in this life. We're all walking through life together. So if we can reset, I feel like it just gives you the perfect stepping stone to be where you want in life. And there's so many different combinations of resets that you can do to get to your best self.
I really love that. And I love that you even brought in your business. I was actually about to ask you about it. And I was like, oh, sweet, she's talking about it right now.
Yeah.
Yes, awesome. And that community piece is so important. So, the Limitless You community that I have inside of the Tuesday call, we have wins, we talk about the energy, and then we end in gratitude. And a lot of the time, I think gratitude is going to be something like, oh, I woke up today, or something like some people, they really come prepared and they're like, I have this one thing that I really want to share gratitude in. But some people are like, life is lifing actively. And
Yes.
they're like, I woke up today. That's the gratitude. And so many times it warms me to know that people are just thankful for the space. They're grateful for the space, for knowing that they're not alone, as you were talking about. So it's just one of those things that it warms my innards, as they say.
Yay. I love it.
So, speaking of inners, insides, what makes us tick, what makes people tick, we're going to shift gears a little bit and bring in your human design. You
Okay.
mentioned that you dabbled a little. I pulled your chart, some things stood out, but I want to know, I always like to know what people's definition of dabbling is while I pull up the chart, because sometimes I've had someone pick that and they're like, yeah, I just saw a couple Instagram reels And I never actually pulled my chart, but that sounded like me. And I'm like,
You're
what?
like, what do you mean?
You said you dabbled. There was a button below that one that said beginner. I don't really know. You said you dabbled. So yes, please share. What does dabbling look like for you?
I guess you can know by now that I'm somebody that is just gonna do some discovery research. So I'm a big, what does this mean? When I first saw it, I was just like, oh my gosh, what do these numbers mean? And all of these like different symbols and everything. And we're in the AI era, and I use Perplexity and ChatGPT to like further understand it. I think you also had some
Mhm.
resources sent to understand it. And I read it and I was just like, generator. Oh, okay, that does sound like me. Like I am kind of like go, 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 go. My friends even say the same thing. They're like, Telly, how do you keep going? And I'm like, I can't sit still sometimes. And then when I do, I'm just like, no, like I need to stimulate my brain and do things. And I was intrigued because there was the strategy portion in terms of like how you move through life. And I was just like, oh, okay. So my response should be to trust my gut feeling. And a lot of the times I'm just like, oh, like I feel like I don't feel like this is right. And then I get mad because I should have went with my first thought in terms of a decision. So I thought that was the main thing that like stuck out to me when I pulled up my chart.
So on my Calendly, I have a button that says intermediate. I know enough to make me dangerous. You
Ooh.
qualify for that button. So
Oh, push the button.
that was a beautiful explanation of like generator type and strategy. Of course, I'll close in some of the loops for our listeners. And oh, I wanted to make sure that I start mentioning this. This is a portion where I will start referencing parts of the chart. I will do my best to describe it for our audio listeners, but I will
Okay.
be pointing to things for our YouTube viewers. So I'll do my best to describe it. If you're curious about whatever gate we're talking about, pull your chart, make sure you have it.
Sounds good.
So we were talking earlier about movement, and one of the things that I see, so is your root center is lit up like a little Christmas tree. There are 9 gates in that center entirely, and you have 5 of them. So what that means, so the root center is a pressure center. It's usually a pressure to do, right? It's a very body energy. And this root energy connecting to your sacral, which is the square right above it, through this 360 channel, this is what makes you a generator. This is what
Okay.
gives definition to both of those energy centers.
Okay.
You just have this need for movement, especially because up here, when we go to the very top of your chart, we have the head. You have the 61 here, which is the gate of wonder and why. And so, what comes with having openness in this gate is sometimes trying to answer everyone's questions. We can sometimes frustrate ourselves as generators trying to come up with the answer to everyone's question because we might be satisfied with the knowledge, but then we're like, what if someone asks us this? And then before you know it, that's 3 hours of our life that we didn't get back going down that rabbit hole. The head center is a pressure center as well. It's a pressure to think about, right? So we're constantly, I have this gate as well up here in a also in a undefined ajna, an
Mhm.
undefined crown. And I'm constantly wanting to know why. It's in traditional human design, it's the gate of inner truth. It's the gate of inner knowing. It's in quantum human design, the gate of wonder. Like this is the gate where you were talking about as a kid, like wanting to see like those different perspectives. That's also bringing in your ajna, which is the triangle right below it. And you have this 11, which is the gate of ideas in traditional human design. And it speaks directly to your throat unconsciously, but like you have a lot of stories about the ideas, I'm sure, that you've tried that didn't work, that did work. Like you can probably really like you did so beautifully when I was looking at your application, like just the storytelling piece there. One of the things that I also saw was this connection here. So you have your head, you have your ajna, and then you have your throat. And both your ajna and your throat are defined through this 4323 channel. And this is a channel of someone who is designed to speak their mind when it's the right time, as we know, and as we inherit like growing up. And what I can imagine, and this is where I like to check in because I don't like making up stories about people, but I can imagine if it wasn't your family, it was with your friends at school. You were probably the one who had some out of the box ideas, and they were either right on time and people loved you for them, or people were like, that girl is weird. What is she? Like, how's that feeling? How's that like?
Yeah, I feel like I have a ton of ideas in my head. It's just idea machines, too many letters coming into the mailbox. It's already full, and I'm just like, but this is a great idea. Like, we could do this. And they're just like, Telly, what? And you're right on point.
And I love that you said you have so many of them. So that brings in a very important piece. So the center is where we have definition or color. We have an energetic buffer there. So that is energy that we like radiate out of us when we go places, right? People talk about, oh, wow, you're always doing stuff, right? You were just saying that. They
Yeah.
probably talk about, right, as you were also bringing in earlier when we were talking, like people seek you out for your ideas, for your thoughts, for your inspirations. And that is because when you have definition in your ajna specifically, you're here to inspire others. You're here to be that person in the room, like wanting people like in off the radiating the vibes of like inspiration and like idea provoking thought, especially with this 11. It's literally the gate of ideas. And
Mhm.
so one of the things that I'm sure you've been finding is that not every idea that you have is for you. And sometimes we have a really good one and we try and make it happen, but it's not the right time. It's like maybe that was for someone else. But now you have that insight for your clients to be like, okay, yeah, this, I tried this. I have some tips for you. I think this might work for you. And that speaks to
Mhm.
your 3-5 profile as well, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But one of the things that I love is that as you are taking those pauses, as you are taking those hard resets, as you're calling them, it's giving you a chance to silence that noise and get back to what is actually aligned for you, to feel into what in your body doesn't feel like pressure and what does actually feel light and feels like it's the right time, it's the right people in place. And it's that generator response of you're just putting your desires out and the universe is bringing things to you. And you're in this feedback loop of, yes, more of this, or more often than not, when we're sometimes being held in agreements that we inherited growing up that no longer serve us, sometimes it can feel like, oh my gosh, like this is so not what am I not being clear? Am I not being clear enough what I want? Because the universe is bringing me a lot of what I don't want, and I'm telling it that I don't want it. But then, of course, we're thinking about what we don't have. So the universe is just sending us more, right? Law of attraction. We know these
Yes. Oh, yeah.
things.
Oh,
we,
yeah.
we know the loops that happen.
Yeah, and I will say I've been experiencing that over the last few, like just certain people that I will make this decision to like post this about my business and then turn around, something just ends up working out for me in terms of I was trying to figure out what to do, but I naturally knew like maybe I should just put it out there and see what happened versus sitting in that thought or lingering in that thought of like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna do this? I'm just gonna trust my judgment. I'm gonna post this and see what happens.
Yeah. Ah, yes. What you're speaking to right now is one of your gifts. So that
Oh,
intuitive clarity. So 57, which lives in your spleen, which is, if you're looking at the chart, when you get home, audio listeners, it's the triangle on the left-hand side. But this 57 is the gate of intuitive clarity. It's the gate of intuition. The whole spleen is responsible for intuition, but you can see that you only have this one gate here, which is
mm,
literally in. So the more, yes, especially because your authority, your decision-making process is guided by your sacral. What your body is telling you it has the energy to sustain, what your heart is lighting up at, and is like, I want to do that. I don't know how, I've got a lot of ideas about how maybe, but I don't know which one of them is right.
you're
It's
reading
up.
me to a T.
Speaking of diving deeper into your design, I want to share something special with you from me, your favorite sponsor. If you're ready to go beyond the surface and really understand your unique soul blueprint, I'd love to invite you to book a 90-minute human design reading with me. We'll dive deep into your life purpose, your natural gifts, and how you're designed to make decisions, as well as what your soul came here to experience and contribute. It's 90 minutes that can literally change how you see yourself and navigate your entire life. You can book your session at diamonddripconsulting.com. You can also find that link in the show notes. Now, back to the wisdom and energy we were exploring. But to feel into your body, to get moving, to get creative, because we find that when we're not sitting there thinking about it, being stuck in these loops, things come to us as we're working out, as we're putting the groceries away. One of my favorite places, as we're showering, those shower downloads.
hmm Shower downloads is like no other.
Yes. So a lot of the things that we've talked about in terms of like your pivots and things, I want to spend some special time and attention here with the most important gift that you have, arguably, and it's in your conscious sun. So you have the 51, which is known as the gate of shock in traditional human design, but it is known as the gate of initiation in quantum human design. And when you have this gate in the unbalanced expression, it's letting the shock of disruption cause you to lose that connection with your true purpose and with source, to start to feel angry or bitter with God, to try and control life and deplete yourself from the energy necessary to hold yourself back. Is any of that? I see some head nodding. Okay. I always like to check and make sure because
Yeah. Wow. I had this thing where reminds me, I went to the nail salon to get my nails done for a wedding and I'm doing like powder, like the powder dip.
Mhm,
And I was just like, show me, what are you showing me? And then I'm
mhm.
just like, trust the process, trust the process. Like it's gonna come out how it should come out. I don't know. I'm not an expert in this. They are. I just need to let it sit. So it's just so funny that you say just like not being able to control. And I feel like I'm such a big controller that like, I need to do this or I need to tell people this and I need to make sure that, yeah, I definitely resonate with that. It's so funny that you said that.
Okay, cool. I always like checking to make sure because I don't like making up stories about people. And if you resonate with the unbalanced expression, then that means there's potential for the lesson and the challenge. And
hmm
then obviously the optimal expression, right? It's the law of polarity. If one thing is true, there's another side of it.
Yeah.
So the lesson with this gate is to not let the unexpected cause you to lose your faith, to not let a pattern of unexpected events cause you to lose your connection with your purpose and source, to learn to use your power, the power of your own story of initiation, to initiate others into fulfilling their right place in the big cosmic plan.
hmm
And when you're able to learn this lesson, to surmount this challenge, the optimal expression is the ability to consciously use cycles of disruption and unexpected twists and turns of fate as catalysts that deepen your connection to source and to your life and soul purpose.
Okay. Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. I needed to hear that.
Yes, I still have the mantra for you, but one of the things that I shared with you before we started recording was that I have this gate as well. And I have another gate that you have as well, the 15, located in the G center, the diamond shape of your chart. It's actually the only gate that you have filtering the energy that you're taking in. One thing that I didn't mention was the centers, obviously, where you're defined, you radiate that energy out. Centers that are open or white, you're taking that energy in and it's becoming amplified in you. So a lot of your soul curriculum is about understanding what's your energy and regulating yourself because you're always constantly taking in energy. And so if a center is completely open with no definitions, that's actually called an open center. This is technically undefined. And what that means when you have at least one center in there, it's filtering the energy that's going through
Mm.
that center. So like I was saying, the 51 I have and also the 15 I have, which in traditional human design is called the gate of extremes. And when you get into the quantum definition of it, it starts talking about like essentially you have these patterns, these rituals that you create for yourself. And then basically shock and disruption is going to come in and it's going to force you to recreate those things. But it's all going to be for the better. And at first, when I learned that was what was happening in my life and received validation, that was what was happening in my life, I was like, okay, and that's when I started to really be able to invoke the gift of the 61 that we were talking about, that wonder, that why, because this is the gate that, especially with your 33 that's defined in your throat down here, sometimes the 33 has a shadow of like victim consciousness and telling disempowering stories about like past events. And so the 61 can have the habit of asking why, but like in the victim consciousness of why me? Why now? Why is this happening? Where now that I know the beautiful optimal expressions of both of these gates, I'm like, what's the bigger picture here? What am I missing? What is my mind trying to get me to think has to happen right now that this disruption is somehow interfering with? Because maybe I'm not seeing something. And that in a moment of chaos, right? We have seven
Yes,
seconds to decide what energy we're gonna have about something.
for sure. I 100% agree. I think this, I wonder if that's why I'm so calm in such chaotic situations, because I'm just like, we need to evaluate this, or I don't know. I just feel like I'm naturally like quick to just, I'm on a work project. It's not the end of the world that this is happening because we can get through it. So yeah, I resonate with that a lot.
Okay, so I'm glad that you resonate with that because I'm gonna give you an affirmation set, as I told you I was gonna, to help you.
Okay.
And it's exactly what you're speaking to. It just gives a little bit of language. So I navigate change and transformation with grace. I know that when my life takes a twist or a turn, it is my soul calling me out to serve at a higher level. I use disruption as a catalyst for my own growth and expansion. I am a teacher and an initiator. I use my ability to transform pain into growth and power to help others navigate through crisis and emerge on the other side of crisis empowered and aligned. That helps me a great deal.
That's such a great mantra. I like it. I love it. I
As Go
Oh
ahead,
yeah. Oh
share,
no, you're good.
please.
I was curious because it's a big long mantra, but I know I'm gonna have it on
Yes.
hand.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm gonna send it to you afterwards because like I said, there's pieces of that you can that pop up in your head in moments where it's like that's what I needed to help me shift this seemingly issue
Hmm.
into a narrative that frames it as a blessing somehow. Like
Yeah. Yep. I need a blessing.
okay, I have a couple of questions for you before we say goodbye to our listeners. So,
Okay.
what would you tell someone who is feeling hesitant about doing this work, especially if they're standing on the edge of a reset like you were? And what I mean by doing this work, I mean taking the time to sit with yourself, even when it was hard, even when the brain wanted to crowd you with thoughts, but really taking the time to get to know yourself and your truth in this deep way.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that the most important kind of tip or advice I would give somebody, especially who's sitting in that space and they're getting really close to a reset, is that you really have to be a little bit more vulnerable with yourself and be okay with the fact that you're not okay or you're at this point of I can't like do all the things that I originally was doing before because it's just super important to be uncomfortable. And if you're setting yourself up to be uncomfortable, it starts to bring you to more comfortable situations because, being able to have that ability to be okay with the fact that you're not okay. And yeah, the tip is just go for it and to be truthful with yourself and know that, like, I've reached this point. Okay, now I know I need to really reevaluate my life, the work that I need to do to get to a better version of how I want my life to be.
Thank you. I love that answer. And so that's going to lead us into our last question. Telly, thank you so much for being here and for sharing your journey with such honesty. Where can people find you, connect with your work, or follow the path that you're carving with Service Sculptor?
Yeah, so you can go to the Service Sculptor website. It's servicesculptor.com. And you can also reach me directly on LinkedIn, Telli Morris. I have more information that is going to be shared in the description below. I'm super excited to connect with y'all.
If these conversations are lighting you up, I'd love to invite you to join our community, Limitless University, where we dive even deeper into this work together. It's where the real magic happens in connection with other conscious humans who are on this journey of living their design. You can find the link at diamonddripconsulting.com and in the show notes.